I completed her makeup and I thought she looked lovely. You know, like I was proud of what I'd done, and she went and looked in the mirror. So she turns to me and she goes, "I don't like it." And my stomach just dropped to the floor. Story time about when I did a client's makeup and she hated it. So when I first started out my makeup artist career, I was actually mobile. So I would go to people's houses for their appointments, and I literally never had any sort of instances where I would feel really uncomfortable, bar this one. So even now, whenever I do a makeup appointment, I always say to my clients, like, if you can get any inspo pictures of makeup that you like, then that's great. Obviously they don't have to, but this particular client got some photos up. I don't even know what it would have been at the time, possibly Pinterest, because Instagram wasn't even a thing back then. And she got some photos up, and I remember thinking that these photos don't look anything like her, like not the same hair colour, not the same skin colouring. So I did sort of explain that to her, you know, like that makeup isn't going to look like that on you, but I can do something similar that would suit your sort of skin colouring. And look, sometimes clients just have unrealistic expectations with makeup, but I'm sure makeup artists would agree with me. I mean, we're all guilty of looking at, you know, these beautiful women's makeup online, and really it's not their makeup that we want, it's their face. So then I started doing her makeup, and she proceeded to literally the whole appointment spend the time complaining about everything. So she'd had her lips done and she hated them. She'd had her boobs done and she hated them. And everything that she said, she was like, "I'm just trying to get my money back for all of it because I hate it." And I, at the time, just didn't think anything of it. It didn't really bother me because it sounds silly, but I believed in my work. Like, I believed that I was good at what I did, and so I just thought she's gonna love this makeup. I completed her makeup and I thought she looked lovely. You know, like I was proud of what I'd done, and she went and looked in the mirror. So she turns to me and she goes, "I don't like it." And my stomach just dropped to the floor. So I was literally like, "What do you mean you don't like it?" And she was like, "I just don't like it. I look disgusting." And I was like, right. Her husband had sort of come into the appointment, you know, like in the room a couple of times. So I said to her, "Why don't you go and show your husband and see what he thinks?" She walks in the other room to her husband, and her husband just goes, "Oh my God, you look amazing." So I knew at that point that it wasn't me, I wasn't crazy, that she did definitely look nice. She comes back in the room like fuming, and then she looks in the mirror and she's like, "This is way too much, this is just so harsh." And I was just standing there dumbfounded. At this point I start to pack my stuff away, because you have to remember I'm in this lady's house, so it's a really uncomfortable situation. And she then proceeds to say, "Well, where do you think you're going? Like, I need more makeup." And I was like, "What do you mean you need more makeup?" She goes, "I need more foundation." And I was like, "You've just told me that you look really harsh, way too much makeup, described herself as a word that I'm not going to use, and now you want me to put on more foundation." I was like, "I'm just not prepared to do that." But she replies, "Well, if you're not going to put more makeup on me, I'm not going to pay you." And obviously I'd never been in this situation before, so I just didn't know what to do. I just stood there silent for a minute trying to gather my thoughts together. In the end I just said, "That's fine, if you're not happy, don't pay me for my work." You have to remember that I am a lot older, uglier, wiser now than what I was then, so it would be a completely different situation if this was to ever occur again, which, touch wood, I hope it doesn't. So she didn't pay me, and I left and proceeded to call my mum in absolute hysterical tears. My mum was like, "Well, she just obviously didn't want to pay you from the start." And I was like, I hadn't even thought about it like that. And my mum says, "I bet she goes out with that makeup tonight. Like, I bet there was no issue. She just literally didn't want to pay you. Just that's why she spent the whole appointment complaining about all these things that she'd had done and she was like got the money back for." So obviously, like I said, this was a long time ago, before Instagram. So this was when Facebook was the thing. So I don't know if it was later on that night or the next day, I went onto her Facebook, and of course she did go out that night with that makeup. And let me tell you something, if you hate your makeup that much, you're not going out with it. Like, no matter what, I don't care. Like, if you feel that uncomfortable, there's no way you're going to go out with that makeup on your face. And listen, with every makeup artist, not everyone is going to like your work. Not everyone's going to like my work, of course not. But there is obviously different ways of handling things, and I would never allow myself to be in that situation ever again. I don't know, God, I hope it never happens again, because it was horrific. But yeah, it wouldn't happen now, don't worry.
That's really bad. I think that's disgusting. The fact like people go out of their way, you know, booking up makeup artists. It's, you know, back in the day, before like Instagram, like she said, like you can see a lot of gurus on there, and you've got like YouTube, and you've got TikTok, and you've got this and that. You know, finding makeup artists, it was either by like a catalogue or a word of mouth, Facebook groups or Facebook friends, or connecting with people. So, you know, it's quite a hard way to try and get them. And once you get them, you know, you spend this amount of money, they're like, "Yeah, you know, I want to look like this, I want to look like Cheryl Cole from 2008. So she goes through all that great length to go find a makeup artist. That makeup artist goes all the way to our house, all her money spent on this makeup to make her look stunning and beautiful, and I'm sure she looked nice. I'm sure she did. And you know, it's just a waste of time. It's a waste of your time. It really is. I think it's absolutely disgusting that you've scammed your way out of paying for makeup, and I'm sure back then it wasn't that expensive. I reckon it was about 25 quid, £30. So I think whatever you pay for what you get. Yeah, I'm not shocked she went out wearing that makeup. I'm really not. I'm not surprised.